Hey, my name is Derek. I'm covering the foundations of the Odin project, and hopefully I can give some insight on my opinions and thoughts on it as a quote-unquote beginner programmer. So, as many of you know, if you're finding this video or you're just stumbling upon it, the Odin project is a course that is made for people. It's open source. It just helps people learn how to do web development, including HTML, CSS, JavaScript, the usual stuff. And then later on goes on to show you how to do more applicable things in the real world, such as stuff like React and along those lines. But for now, when you start off with the Odin project, it puts you into the foundations course. And that is basically like teaching you the skeleton, the bare bones, the fundamentals, the foundations of web development, which is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Also, I'm pretty new to coding, so if I'm getting anything wrong, feel free to correct me. I will go more in detail about my experience and story later on in the video. So for now, I'll just focus on the Odin project. So this is a foundations course right here. We have the overview, tells introduction about what basically the web is. Your motivation and mindset regarding coding is very important, actually. I learned a lot about how I should approach coding in this course. One small thing is I had some prior experience from my classes in school, but a lot of the stuff that I learned in school didn't really help me become a better programmer. Like, I wasn't taught the problem solving, I guess, attitude that I should have regarding this kind of, like, I don't know, hobby, or now that I want to make it a career, you know, something that you want to do. But anyways, this section, all of this stuff is a lot of text, but it's very important in my opinion because it just teaches you how to prepare yourself as best as possible to go through the rest of this course. So this introduction area is basically just telling somebody how to prepare, why should you do it, and what you can do to receive help here. Then the prerequisites are basically computer basics. How does the web work? How to install text editors, how to use a CLI, how to use Git. And this is also two major things that I very much enjoyed about the Odin project. I used to try to learn through a lot of like the exercises on W3 schools and sometimes on like those coding websites that help have you fill in the blank for what goes here. But I found that having my own environment to practice and play around in really helped me experiment, because when I was doing those fill in the blanks, I was looking for one answer, but over here I could branch out into so many more things. Even if it wasn't the answer I was looking for, I would just learn a lot more, and that helped. But I never thought I would be in the CLI setting up a bunch of stuff, and now I am, and I really enjoy it. I want to learn more about the CLI and stuff like that. Like right now, if I am making a directory or files, I'm probably doing it through the terminal, and I kind of like that. It feels faster. And Git is cool. I like Git. Then it tells you how to use Git, how to push, how to commit, how to add, all that stuff. Later on goes into how to branch and how to merge. I still have to get better at those things, but for now I have the committing and pushing pretty much on lock. It feels very natural for me after all these projects that I've done. The HTML foundations teaches you about HTML, CSS, what are elements and tags, the boilerplate, which is really important to learn at first, but after you kind of get the hang of it, you can just use the Emmet shortcut on Visual Studio Code, which gets rid of a lot of the hassle. But knowing how the frame is for HTML is really important. Then tells you how to use lists, links and images, and commit messages. So the first project is recipes, and it's pretty ugly for me, honestly. I have designed some stuff for my classes before, but for this, I just wanted to do what the course was teaching me how to do. So it was basically just text, links, and images. So right here we have my recipe book, and with this, it's just, you know, HTML. We have like barely any CSS, probably none at all actually. This is just an image and some links. So I'll just click this. Takes me to a different page, basically. Just has some fettuccine alfredo. I copied this from a different like recipe website. I don't know how to, I didn't make this up, but yeah, very bare bones, but it gets the job done. I would say that this project kind of helps you, I guess, put together what you learned here and how to like navigate through a web page by using links. Then we go into some CSS. We go into the box model, which is something that's very important. The box model, once I learned this box model, once I started to actually think about it seriously, it helped structure my page so much. I can't overstate how much learning box model helps you position things and structuring your page. It's just so helpful. So I really appreciate that the foundations page, the foundation section went into the box model and has you really put this into your head. Like, I'll just click this, and this also tells you how you learn through the Odin project. It's a lot of text, but they have some examples usually on the page. If anything, they'll have you go to a different website or a video, and all of these things really help. Like, some of the assignments will be just go watch a video, and that's it, nothing else. There's no homework that you have to do or anything. That'll be in the projects, which is also something I can talk about for the Odin project. But anyways, we learn about CSS, and then we get to Flexbox. Flexbox is incredible. I love Flexbox. But when you learn about Flexbox, it really teaches you how to continue that structuring process that you learned from the box model and how to position things on your web page. And this is incredible. I love Flexbox. And even though I'm touching into CSS Grid now, I still love using Flexbox for some things. It's just very handy and comfortable to use. So my project for the landing page, I don't have it up right now. It's just a simple Flexbox exercise that has you use Flexbox to basically make a web page that, let's just click this. It'll look like one of these guys. Oh, I have one right here actually. So this is it right here. I made it after a show that I watched a couple of months ago, and this is basically it. Yeah, has some links that don't work, and all this is done with Flexbox. I love it. Anyways, we will go to the next one, JavaScript basics. Now, JavaScript, I'm not gonna lie, it can kick your ass. JavaScript is very fun actually once you get the hang of it, but learning how to grasp JavaScript, or like how to program things, is very, I guess, intimidating at first. And as you can see, there's fundamentals part 1, 2, 3, 4, and even 5. So they really have you learn the fundamentals of JavaScript, and there's still a lot more to learn that I've seen, which is incredible. There's a lot of things that you can do with this type of language. So they teach you how to use the dev tools, which is very important, honestly. I'm not an expert in any way with the dev tools, but even just using it to do simple things on the web page, like check out how your flex box is laid out, how your grid is looking, what your variable is at this part of the function. It's incredible. I love the dev tools, and I hope to get better at using them as time goes on. And we have problem solving and understanding errors. Now, this is when the projects get fired back to back. I was very excited for this to put my knowledge to the test. So we have rock, paper, scissors. Now, the rock, paper, scissors project at first is not using a UI, like a graphic user interface. It's just simple, like it's just ran through the console, I believe. And it'll have you play against the computer, picking rock, paper, or scissors, and then once you get to 5, it'll pick whoever won the most amount there. And all of that is done through the console at first, so you don't have to worry about the DOM or matching stuff to the web page. And it's very comfortable, honestly. I very much enjoyed this project at first because it teaches you how to look into the logic of programming things. Then we have clean code, installing Node.js. I honestly don't really understand Node at the moment, but hopefully it'll become more apparent as time goes on. The DOM was pretty tricky for me, honestly. I didn't really understand the concept of what a DOM was until, which is also, let me go on a side tangent right here. The DOM, the Odin project really teaches you how to look for your information and how to seek your answers. So, for example, on the DOM, this didn't really clear up how the DOM worked to me. So what I did is I read this stuff, and if it still wasn't clear to me, I would just look up more resources. And that's what I did. I looked up a couple of more articles and YouTube videos, and eventually one clicked and just made the DOM make sense to me. And I think that's very good, because prior to this, I would have just taken what they told me, and if I didn't understand it, I would just move on not understanding it. Moving along, the DOM is actually very important, so I'm glad I got the hang of it. If anybody struggles with understanding DOM, it's okay. Just keep looking and looking for resources that teach you it, because I think it's pretty important. And we revisit the rock, paper, scissors, give it a GUI so that users can click a button on the page to select their choice instead of typing in rock, paper, or scissors into the console. And I believe this is it right here. So, start game, some basic CSS, nothing crazy. I just wanted to get these projects done. We have start game, yes. You'll pick rock, paper, or scissors, and I'll pick rock, I won. Paper, I lost. Scissors, we tied. Rock, tie, and paper. So since I won twice, and I lost once, I win. Can I play again? Yeah, I'll do it again. So then you can just kind of loop it. And that's the project. You can just pick it a couple of times. There might be some bugs in here. Like if I just spam this, it'll probably just keep doing this because I didn't clean up the loop. But it gets the job done. And if you click no, it'll just tell you thanks for playing. So that's my project. I was pretty happy with this project as well. Being able to map my JavaScript to the DOM and be able to select these buttons and have them do things felt pretty good. So after that, it's just project after project, and that's great. We have the Etch-a-Sketch. This one wasn't too bad. I got this one done during a 3-hour lecture that I was in for school. And honestly, once I got the idea of Flexbox and the DOM, the Etch-a-Sketch was like a breeze, honestly. I was very happy with how easily it came to me, the solution in my head. Now, at first I used Flexbox and tried to iterate through a loop to make a bunch of rows and columns, but I just decided, since you don't learn grid at this time, I just decided to look ahead and learn grid to make my life easier. And I think grid is great, honestly. If you can learn grid before doing the Etch-a-Sketch and the calculator, it's such a boon. So this is my Etch-a-Sketch. My first Etch-a-Sketch was disgusting, horrendous. It was horrid to look at. My grid was all over the place. It wasn't responsive, and I just didn't understand what was going on. Why were there weird gaps and stuff like that everywhere? But eventually I cleaned it up and made it look presentable. And we have some basic CSS here, just make the buttons look satisfying to click. I can probably add some actives and stuff like that to make the clicking feel better, but for the Etch-a-Sketch, this is it. You can just select a color, black, and that's it. You can select blue, blue paint, red, green, and then the erase. And you can reset it. And you can change the size as well. So right here, you can input it. I'll do 30. And then I'll do 30, and it's 30 by 30 grid, and the drawing is a little bit bigger, as you can see. I'll try one more, 50. As you can see, it's smaller or bigger, but the brush is smaller in comparison. And that's it. I'm very happy with this, honestly. Uh, this project was very fun. And again, I was satisfied by how easily it came to me. So, since I got the Etch-a-Sketch done quickly, I'm feeling pretty good about JavaScript. Like, yeah, wow, I'm finally getting the hang of this. Huh. Then in comes the calculator, man. This calculator it kicked my ass, honestly. I was in such a rush to do the next project and finish from the foundations after the Etch-a-Sketch that I was like, I'm gonna get this calculator done so quickly. Little did I know, I would be stuck on this thing for a couple of weeks. Not actively, because my thing is I'm not spending so many hours a day on this, only when I can. So, like, in total, it probably took me like maybe 6 hours of going at it and deleting stuff. Like, I'm pretty sure if I look at my GitHub, my history, I just completely wiped my concept for the calculator twice or 3 times and started from scratch because my code was all over the place. I was trying random stuff. It was ugly. It was just disgusting. But I just stepped back for a couple of days, and instead of writing the code, I thought about it. I thought about how to get things done and how to think like a calculator, how to think like a computer. And once it clicked in my head, I wasn't even at a computer. I was just like, oh, this makes sense. I can try this. So once I got home, I opened my computer and tried out the ideas that I had, and it just started to work. And once it was good to go, everything else came naturally. And this is my latest project so far. So we have the calculator. It's pretty mid. 5 times 5 equals 25. Then you can just keep adding operations to this. So like I'll do +3, 28. All of this should function pretty well, and there should be no issues. I also added the delete button, so if I add all of this, I can just delete the last character. I can all clear. I can make it into a negative. I can add a decimal. Oh, I guess this doesn't work right now, but right now the decimal will work for positive numbers. Is it not working for negative? I guess not. I'll have to fix that. But it's mostly functional. I believe the decimal is like an extra credit too. So the main functionality is here. I used grid for this and try to add like these little fancy buttons down here, but I'll have to look into how to use SVG and all that stuff to make it look better. But that's it. That's the foundations course. And once you're done with all of this stuff, if you make this calculator, I feel like you are already on your way to becoming a better programmer. This took a lot of thought from me, and I'm pretty happy that I ended up fixing it by myself instead of just going to a solution and copying it, because that's what I used to do when I was like in class coding. I would just copy and adjust it a little bit, and I never got the logic of what things were happening, like my to-do list and all that stuff. I wasn't doing the coding, I was copying it. So at the end of it, you have choose your path forward. And this is when you can go into Ruby and full JavaScript. There's even a little wheel here for you to pick. But honestly, like, I'm not super knowledgeable on this. I believe JavaScript is very important in the industry right now. I don't know if Ruby is too important at the moment, but maybe it is for like backend and stuff. Oh yeah, it also teaches you about like what backend, frontend, and what you can pursue is. But anyways, I selected JavaScript, and I'm just going to continue with that. You can choose your path right here, and it'll even tell you. You can view the paths before you pick them. This is Ruby. This is JavaScript. So I was doing a little bit of the JavaScript just because I was having fun. But there's a lot of stuff here. But hopefully by the time I'm over here, I am good to go. Graduated, looking for a job, which will be soon. But anyways, that's the foundations. In conclusion, I think this is a great way to get into coding, doing JavaScript, HTML, CSS, all of that. I think this does a great job at, I would say, not holding your hand, but also guiding you in the right path on how to think like a programmer, how to research like a programmer, how to go at your projects like a programmer. Just break things down into pseudocode and attack it in that like way. But it's great. I really enjoyed doing this compared to other things that I've done. I've never done a boot camp. I've just taken some classes in uni and watched some YouTube tutorials. But this did a great job at making me actually apply project-oriented learning. Something you'll hear a lot. Very important. I understated or underestimated how important that would be. But once I did this, I feel pretty comfortable with the stuff that I've learned here. I feel like I can but go at some bigger projects and slowly get things done, which will probably be my portfolio. Or I'm working on some other stuff for class, but I've been able to implement some of this stuff into my classwork and it looks great, like head and shoulders above what I used to produce. So I'm pretty happy with that. Anyways, if that's all you're here for, that's it. I'll go into my story and my thoughts after this. So if that's it, thanks for watching. I appreciate you and good luck if you are starting this. And feel free to leave me any advice or comments that you might have if you're more experienced or less experienced. Anything helps. Anyways, my story will be quick. I'm just like a college student. I'm about to graduate, looking to get into web development as a career after I had a last minute change on what I was interested in. Not that I was interested in it before, because I did start my degree in comp sci, but I got kind of turned off by it and tried to do some media stuff. But as I'm about to finish my media degree, I realized I wasn't really looking forward to doing any of this as a career, and I started to think about coding again and being able to combine some of the creativity from media into coding. And web development was like perfect. I can make these beautiful web pages and web apps and even some software and programs that just look amazing. Granted, I know when you are in a big company that there'll be a UI team for this that will give you the stuff you need to make. But for myself, I really enjoyed making things that looked great with code. So I moved back to this. And while I will not be graduating with a comp sci degree, and I'm worried about that for finding a job, I'm hoping my experience through this course and my projects that will be in my portfolio by this summer, hopefully, will get me some interest from people and hopefully land me a job, because I believe I can turn out some decent projects as I get the hang of this. So that's about it. Before this, I didn't have a ton of experience, maybe just a couple of like stealing. Well, I can't really say stealing, but I feel like my projects were all made from bootstrap assets, and I felt like it wasn't really me understanding how box model worked. But anyways, I feel a lot more comfortable at making things look great from my own doing instead of using bootstrap, or I believe the other one is like Tailwind. It looks fun to use as I get more experience, but now that I have the fundamentals, the foundations that this course gave me, I feel comfortable that I can go into Tailwind and React and use all that stuff to make my stuff more efficient and look better and work better now that I have the foundations. But anyways, that's gonna be it for me. Thanks for watching. I will be uploading more stuff on this channel as I progress through this, and hopefully, I don't know if this will get any traction, but if anybody feels like following me on this journey, feel free. I would appreciate that, and any advice you guys have. And let's hope for the best in 2023. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. Peace.